everybody, this is Filter Starcraft coming back for episode number 8 of my Bronze to Master series. The last episode was all about scouting. It was a pretty dry, unexciting one, not a real way to measure it, but there's a lot of good information there. However, this episode is a little bit more fun, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one a little bit more. This one is all about taking a third base, eventually a fourth base, and kind of finishing off all your production. If you can hit the benchmarks, and once you kind of pass this one, you're going to be in great shape. You're going to be playing amazing. Getting to Masters League playing like this, absolutely not out of the question. I just want to remind everybody that the next 2 episodes, one of them is going to be me playing Platinum League games, and the other one's going to be me playing Master League games. So you're going to get a good glimpse at just how effective playing this style can be. I also ran some benchmarks on previous games that I played on my Masters account. When I was looking at the Protoss games, at 14 minutes, which is the time that we're going to aim to max out at, Protoss was having typically about 130 food against me. They didn't have a whole ton of gateways, so reinforcements wouldn't have been that strong. You can imagine what having a 200 food army can do to a Protoss army at that 14-minute mark. Or even a Zerg or another Terran. Go ahead, look at your old games, see just how much food people have at 14 minutes. Then imagine yourself with a 200 food army with excellent upgrades and all the production to reinforce that. I really want to emphasize with this particular episode and the ones going forward that at this point it is not a strict build order. This is not exactly how you have to play. If you want to get tanks, if you want to get extra factories, by all means go ahead. Make sure you're spending your money intelligently and keeping it low, as well as maintaining a really good economy backbone with your SCV production. If you get all the way through this particular episode, I hope you feel and you can kind of hit and play exactly as I'm trying to teach here. I hope you have a much better understanding of the game and a much better understanding of how to play certain ways and how to play certain styles. By the time you finish this particular episode, you should be able to just watch a pro game, see what a pro gamer is doing on any kind of macro-orientated build, and emulate that really, really easily. What I mean by that is if I see somebody do something really cool and I go, okay, well, he got a whole bunch of Hellions at this time or whatever, I can jump into a custom game, play 4 or 5 custom games, and get a really good feel for exactly how MMA did that particular play. That is the whole point of this series. This series is not simply to teach you how to do a really cheesy build order to beat one particular race. This is designed to teach you exactly how to play really, really, really solid all the way through your games. Now, the one thing here I do really want to emphasize is that you're not going to be able to simply just play this way perfectly every time, every single game. If you are able to play this way every single game, you're going to be hitting Masters League and you're going to be winning every single game you play. So, with that being said, practice is going to be key here. You're going to have to jump into some custom games against the computer and just mash out a bunch of games to work on taking that third quickly, to work on maxing out quickly, to work on adding extra production facilities. And then as you play games, things are going to start to get a little bit more complicated. What I mean by that is you're going to face all sorts of all-ins, and it's going to be really important that you can get back on track using your resources to manage you, not necessarily the set timings that are going to be out there. So while I'm going to say something like you stop SCV production at 12 minutes and 30 seconds, if somebody attacks you and you lose 10 SCVs, you have to remake them. It's really important you do so. So when you're playing games, it's not always going to go smooth, it's not always going to go perfect. Things are going to change and flip up, but as long as you're getting back to the same base, you're going to be in really, really good shape. Now, as always, for every episode, there is going to be just a demonstration game where I talk over playing it. That demonstration game, I'm not going to be perfect in. I'm going to make some mistakes that I'm going to have to keep trying to correct. I've been working at this for a while today to try to make it absolutely perfect. Having a hard time doing it, which means it's going to be hard for just about everybody to do. However, the nice thing about that is you have a nice kind of goal and a ceiling to try to aim for. If you can start getting close to these or start really hitting them hard, then you're going to be in fantastic shape and you're going to win a lot of games. The other thing to keep in mind too is on the practice field, you might be able to do everything perfectly or close to it, but as soon as you get into a real game and you have to micro and do other stuff, you're going to start getting distracted. So it's really important you don't fall apart and don't lose out on parts of this that are really important, like adding those extra production facilities. One big thing about this style of play is that you do a lot with very little early on, and later game you're going to have to add a lot of production. So it's not like you have 6 barracks because you didn't make out of 2 or 3 of them properly. In this case you only have 3 and you're consistently making out of them. With that in mind, I'm going to quickly jump into a couple components of this. The first one is when is a good time to take a third. Now, in my opinion, really good time to take a third is when you're attacking. So we're looking to attack around 10 minutes, that's when we're leaving our base. That's about the time we want to start making our command center so that we can hopefully get it down at a good time. Now the one key to this is our attack that we've been doing at 10 minutes, we simply can't afford to lose our army. That means it's really important to have map control, and it's going to be really important that when we do attack, we're scanning ahead of his base so we can get a good feel for what kind of army he has. If he has a whole bunch of stuff, chances are his economy is probably hurting. In that case, we want to pull back. The absolute worst thing we can do when we're trying to take our third base is lose our army. Don't do it. So with that in mind, I'm going to kind of jump into how to let your economy dictate what you're going to make in the buildings that you're going to be looking to create. Around 9 minutes, if you're hitting everything perfectly, you're going to need to make your 2 supply depots, otherwise you end up supply blocking. After you make those 2 depots, we want to add on our 4th and 5th barracks, and then we want to add on our command center. The reason for that is if we do it the other way around, we end up not having enough production if some kind of major attack happens. So we want to make sure we're adding on those 2 barracks before we get our 3rd command center. This means our 3rd command center is going to start around 10 minutes, which sounds kind of late, but look at most of your games and see if you grab a 3rd CC before then, because I bet a lot of you don't. I really want to emphasize that point. 10 minutes is not a very early CC, but that also means it's not a risky CC. The other thing about the timing on this is that you're going to have basically maximum SCV saturation when it lands. So it's going to land and your economy is absolutely going to boom because you're not going to be making SCVs anymore, and you're going to have a 3rd base kick in at maximum saturation immediately. That's going to be really crazy. You're going to have a ton of money to spend. Combat shield should be on the way hopefully at this point. What you're going to do though is take a 4th gas, you're going to build an armory, and you're going to get an engineering bay. That's going to take your +1 and let you get a fairly quick +2, +1. Terran does not rely necessarily too much on the +1 armor, but the +2 attack is huge. The +2 attack is definitely very important, so that's why we need to get the armory as well as the engineering bay just so we can get those armor upgrades too. The next thing we want to try to do is add on 4 more barracks. Those 4 extra barracks are going to put us at a total of 9 barracks, and then we're going to add on reactors and tech labs to those, and whatever mixture you feel is good for your particular army. This is also where you can grab any of your utility buildings that you don't have yet. What I mean by utility buildings is something like a 2nd Starport, so if he goes Colossus, you're already prepared for it, and a Ghost Academy in case he goes Templar. Ghosts are good to have against Protoss anyway, so definitely recommend grabbing that. Now the last thing, we're going to stop making SCVs at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. When you stop making SCVs at 12 minutes and 30 seconds, you should be in and around your 65 to 68 that you're going to need for basically the whole game. At that time, hopefully your command center for your 4th base is already landed and ready to go. You're going to grab 9 SCVs from your main, 9 SCVs from your natural, transfer them on over there. And this is also a really good time to do what's called a saturation check. When you do a saturation check, you just box all of your SCVs and make sure you don't have more than 3 pages. If you have more than 3 pages, you have way too many SCVs of that one expansion. If you just box the mineral ones, you only really need 16. You can transfer any extras to another base that perhaps doesn't have enough. Now what we're really going for is a 14-minute max out. If you max out at 14 minutes, it means you're going to be able to add on tons and tons and tons of barracks because your income is going to be so heavy. Think about it like this. If your income is going to be around 2,000 minerals per minute, you can add on like 12 barracks within that 1 minute. That's insane. That's a huge number of barracks. You can also take your 4th base with the extra money, and that's all between minute 14 and minute 15. Just think about that for a second compared to if you max out at like 16 or 17 minutes. The last thing to talk about in regards to your 3rd base is if it's going to be a planetary fortress or an orbital command. When that debate comes up, it really depends on the map. Maps like Cloud Kingdom, where it's relatively easy to defend your 3rd, it may as well be an orbital. However, if you're playing against a really aggressive Zerg player, and you feel more comfortable with it as a planetary, by all means make it a planetary. The big thing about orbital versus planetary is typically if you're really behind and you know you are, it needs to be an orbital. If you're really far ahead, planetary is actually quite beneficial. It's also map dependent. On maps like Antigua Shipyard, there's no reason to make it a planetary fortress. It's not going to help against anything. The last thing to kind of mention with that is against Terran, because Terran has siege tanks, there's really not a lot of point in getting a planetary fortress anywhere. You might want to get it on your fort just to stop marines and stuff like that, but other than that it doesn't really matter. Just remember, when you're doing this, some things are going to throw you off. There's going to be games where you get concentrated on your micro and you mess everything up behind it. That's cool, that happens. That happens to me. It actually happens to me quite often. So what you want to do is just go back in macro when at all possible, and you want to kind of avoid the micro. If it's not a situation where you're going to lose everything because you're trying to micro, then just pull back and throw down all your extra barracks. You don't have to rally your SCVs back, you can just drop the barracks and move the SCVs later. So if things do throw you off, don't worry about it, just keep practicing and you'll get a lot better. Some other things just to keep in mind that can throw you off is like a really heavy push at like 9 or 10 minutes that really just messes and screws everything up. Again, don't worry about it, just keep playing as normal and try to get to your base where you need to be, which means the 65-70 SCV mark, and then you want to have your 3 bases up, your upgrades going, a ton of barracks, and just play it out from there. The last thing I'll kind of mention is it's not a bad idea to take your gas on your 3rd base if you're already maxed out. Banking gas be quite useful if you need to go for a lot of Vikings quickly. If all your medevacs die and you need to make a bunch of medevacs really quickly, that can be important. If you need to make a whole bunch of ghosts really fast, that can be important. So it's not a bad idea to bank the gas, especially when your mineral income is going to be so high anyway. The last thing I want to mention really quickly is if you are going for tanks against Terran and you're going for tanks against Zerg, in that particular instance, when you take your 3rd base, that's when you want to get your 2nd factory. You can even add a 3rd factory if you want to take both of the gases at your 3rd base. That'll let you get your tank production up really quickly if for whatever reason a whole bunch die off in an engagement. So just keep that in mind. This is not a strict you need to build this whenever build order. This is where you should be using your money type of play. So if you want to use your money on a factory, by all means go ahead. Alright, let's jump into our practice game. So, half decent split there, not bad. And again, just spamming to warm my hands up. You can do it if you want to, I just kind of do it, it happens. Been doing it for so long now that I can't really stop it, even if I wanted to, so. Not a big deal. Alright. So we've been over this early game a few times, but I'm still don't feel totally comfortable even up to the 10-minute mark with everything. I'm definitely making some mistakes in the games I'm playing, so. Be making our barracks soon. I will be scouting this game even though it's a computer. He'll probably kill my SCV, but not a big deal. Okay, and let's get this guy working here. There we go. Next SCV's on the way, rally point set. Now we're going to set the rally for this guy and just wrap him around. Make sure we check for the gas. And we're ready to make our next depot, so we'll go ahead and do that. There we go. Better rally point. And we're going to be able to squeeze out 2 more SCVs. And then we're going to have to get ready to make our orbital here. So, I want to mention that I still focus a lot when I'm trying to do this early stuff. An early game mistake gets magnified quite a bit. So something as simple as forgetting your orbital for too long or missing all the Marines at the start can be quite costly. And I don't want to do that. So, there we go, got the orbital on the way, let's make another Marine. I have found, with a little bit of adjustment with scouting, because of the mining time I lose off just a single SCV, it ends up being quite difficult to get that 3rd Marine in there in time. So I've been skipping it for now, because that lets me get everything else I need up a lot easier. So drop that, drop the mule. As you can kind of see, if I did go for that Marine right now, I wouldn't be able to afford the CC for too long. So CC's down. I didn't really worry too much about that getting gunned down. You want to focus on your macro first, so even if your scout gets gunned down and you don't see anything, don't worry about it, it happens. Okay, need a supply depot and a bunker. So depot going down, bunker's going down. Another Marine on the way. Next I'll be adding 2 barracks. And I'll kind of complete my first building group when I do that. So let's go ahead and grab that guy. Throw down that barracks. Cancel one of those because I'm queuing up. That's bad. Especially this time of the game. Get another Marine on the way. Start the CC. rallying back, start our next SCV, and things are starting to look pretty good. Next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to be adding on 2 gas, and it's going to cut a pretty fine line here, so let's add those. And let's go like this, grab those guys, rally them down. Get our orbital started here. Come on. There we go. And that SCB is going to go here. Now we're going to throw some of these SCBs on our gas. One thing that's kind of funny to note, as you start playing smoother and smoother with your money and you keep it lower and lower, your build sets are going to feel more and more bumpy. It's a really weird phenomenon. Okay, we're going to be looking to put our add-ons on soon once I grab this depot. So, with those extra depots, throw down the mule, and let's get our add-ons on these barracks here. There we go. And apparently that doesn't want to add on, but there we go. Things looking good, feels good. We're going to be ready to go soon. Start our Marauder. For whatever reason, when I've been playing these practice games, I keep rolling against Terrans, but I don't know, this makes sense to me. Start our barracks, our factory, sorry. And we're going to need to grab that gas. Let's go ahead and grab that. Let's also go ahead and grab our... don't quite need it yet. I do. Another depot. And we're going to get ready to start stim here. So, start my stim pack, grab 2 Marines. Going to grab that engineering bay. Again, because my money's staying so low, I am missing a Marine or 2 here and there. Not a big deal as long as I'm not missing my SCBs. And that purely comes from just the fact that you don't have enough money to spend it on everything. We need some more depots here, so let's get one down. Make sure those guys are rallied down. We got that SCB, which needs to make our starport. Throw down our factory. Or starport, sorry. Throw down our reactor. So I keep messing up my hotkeys when I'm trying to change them over. Start our +1. Get more SCVs. And we're going to need to add on 2 quick supply depots here. So add those. Sure I'm not missing SCVs. I know I'm missing a couple Marines, but not going to hurt. And get those guys going. Alright. Let's flip this stuff over. So we're hitting that. Alright. Single Marine attacking me. Oh no. Now our money spiked. I'm going to grab a depot. I've already grabbed 2 of the ones I need because I'm going to be at 100 food. And let's grab those 2 and grab my 2 medevacs. And my Marines Marauders going. Get another mule down. Got my 2 extra barracks on the way. That was almost vicious. Alright, got everything in my hotkey. Things are looking good. I'm going to grab combat shield. Then I'm going to grab my command center for my 3rd. It's going down right before 10 minutes. And I should be able to still squeeze 2 medevacs out of that. Yeah, no problem. So 10 minutes, 96 food. +1 almost done. Stim pack almost done. Combat shield and Q ready to go. 2 medevacs on the way. And my expansion. So next thing I'm looking to do here is I want to take my 4th gas. Apparently I want to make supply depots there. It's not good. Taking my 4th gas. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Armory. Gonna have to use a supply cooldown, unfortunately. That's embarrassing in a video. Need an add-on for you, an add-on for you. And get another medevac on the way. Throw those guys in there. Get our +1 defense going. +1 armor. 4 depots. As you can see, there's still a lot of room to smooth this out, but if you watch my money, it stays typically quite low. The reason I'm doing things is because I just can't afford to. Or the reason things are happening. Yes, I'm queuing SCVs a little bit. I like to keep it to 2, but SCVs tend to be the most important unit. And I'm going to need to make a lot of those guys there. As soon as this finishes, I want to be ready with my +2 attack. There we go. On the way. And this guy's done, so we're going to flip that into an orbital. And come on. Alright. And still going here. Alright. Now this is going to finish soon, so I'm going to go ahead and just grab 9 guys from here. And I'm going to grab 9 guys from here. Rally them all over. Lift off my orbital, drop it over there. My upgrades well on the way, things are looking good. Let's grab 2 medevacs. And now I'm going to be looking to add things like, oh, just wait for this guy to land. Get back, you lazy bastard. There we go. Okay. And we won't need any more SCVs, so my economy is just going to blow up from here. You're going to see my supply skyrocket. So let's grab 2 more depots. Make sure we're making here. And I'm going to get my Ghost Academy now. I'm going to grab a second Starport because I feel like it. I'm going to start adding on more barracks. Make sure I put my second Starport into hockey. Grab myself 2 medevacs. 5 barracks, this is 7. We'll be looking to add 2 more. So let's call down our mules here. And let's add them up there. That's going to give me a total of 9 barracks. 181 food at 4 minutes, not bad. I can definitely do better though. The one thing here too is I'm going to do a mineral line check. I have too many here, so I'm going to transfer some over to my natural. It's not fully saturated. As you can see now, my money is just blowing up. So I can literally just start grabbing everything. Let's go ahead and get our +2 armor, get our ship weapons. And add on some more barracks here if I want. It's going to take me up to 13 barracks, I believe. No problem. There we go. Let's drop all those guys over there. Let's add some add-ons. Let's go ahead and take a 4th base. Have some more medevacs. Oh, looks like I'm supply capped here. So I maxed out about 15 minutes. In my other practice games, I got about 14:30. As you can see, though, I've now got a very crazy kind of background. So let's take those gas here. Again, I can't make anything else. So normally I would be engaging and fighting with this particular army, but I don't really have any reason to do that now. So pretty cool. You can kind of see there's a lot of areas to improve, but at the same time, if you're maxing out this quickly, look at all this money I'm banking up right now. This is with no mules down, so I have a ton of scans available to me. I haven't had to make an SCV in ages. You know, I can concentrate on other stuff. If I go and get in a big fight and I lose half this army, I can reinforce that stupidly fast. Again, really good economy. You notice one thing, my gas number, it's relatively low, it's not spiking up. A lot of times you see a Terran who has the opposite problem, where they have not enough gas or not enough minerals and tons of gas. By kind of being sluggish with how we take gas, we're doing a really good job of managing our economy. Alright, we're closing in on the end of the episode here, but I want to give you the benchmarks that you need to try to hit as best as possible. These benchmarks are really extreme. These are going to be tough. If you're struggling with some of the other benchmarks I posted from previous games, you're not going to be able to hit these ones. So it's really important you go back to the Bronze and Silver League and Gold League stuff to really check it out and see where you can improve. Make sure you're hitting those benchmarks, and if you can kind of gradually go through each step to here, you're going to be in amazing shape, and you're just going to be crushing people left, right, and center. It's going to be awesome. It's going to feel really good. But with that in mind, let's throw out the benchmarks. So the main one is you want to have 65 SCVs by 12 minutes and 30 seconds. That's tough to do, but if you're hitting everything else, it's going to feel really, really smooth and easy. You don't even need the 3rd command center to get it. So again, you shouldn't have any problem there. The next benchmark we're going to be looking at is you want to land your 3rd by 12 minutes and 40 seconds. If you're landing your 3rd, then your transfer of SCVs is going to be set up perfectly. Your economy is going to absolutely explode, and you're going to be blown away with how much stuff you can make. The next thing we want to look at is you need to have 9 barracks at least by 14 minutes. It is possible to get more, but you really want to aim for at least 9 by 14 minutes. The other thing you're going to be looking for is to have your +2 and +1 infantry weapons and armor seconds away from completion. What I mean by seconds is it can be within a minute or so. You'll still be in fantastic shape to slide right on into 3-2. The other thing you want to have is you want to have combat shield finished. That's going to give your infantry absolutely all the firepower they need. The last thing is 200 supply at 14 minutes. That's hard to do. I've been practicing a little bit today. I was able to get maxed in like 1420 in one of the games I played against the computer. When you're playing against the computer, try to get 214 minutes. If you can do that and then you can transfer that over to a game, you're going to blow people apart. It doesn't even matter if they're in Diamond League. If you're hitting 200 supply in 14 minutes, you're going to smash them to pieces. If you want to have a kind of a reference point of just how strong that is, go ahead and look at your previous games, take a look at people you played before, see at 14 minutes how much stuff they have. Regardless of any of the harass and stuff, just throw that out. But if you have macro games and you have a game where the other player felt really scary for what he had, just go ahead and check 14 minutes, see what his supply is. I did that against some of my Master League opponents, and guess what? A couple of the Prodosses I played that absolutely crushed me later in the game, well, at 14 minutes, they had 130 supply and 1-1 upgrades. I don't think I would have a problem with that at all. I don't know about you guys, though. So, we're going to jump into the ending portion here, but these are the benchmarks. If you can hit these in a practice game and transfer that over to a real game, you're going to just hammer people, and it's going to feel really, really good. Hopefully I've given you a good base through all these episodes, so that when we advance into the next few, where we go into Diamond and Master League stuff, we can start looking at drops and different kinds of harass and a lot of stuff that's really, really fun and cool to pull off. I'm going to show you how to do some of that stuff. And you're going to be an extremely strong macro Terran. Alright, well that wraps up episode number 8 of my Bronze to Master series. If you liked the video, definitely hit the like button. If you like all the videos, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. The link is down below, where I'll post updates on new videos. If you want to ask me questions, Twitter's a great way to do that, because I check it fairly often. And that's pretty much everything for this particular episode. The one thing I do want to point out is that it's really tough to play this out perfectly. It's a really difficult challenge to try to get that 14-minute max. If you keep practicing at it, you're going to be able to do it, though. The big thing is you're basically spending all your money, you're keeping a good gas versus mineral balance, you're getting all your upgrades, you're going to feel so powerful when you fight other players. And you can make adjustments. If he's going for fast Colossus, hey, you have the economy behind you to get a second Starport and then support it. When you'd grab that Starport, typically you would just take the 4th gas. Really simple, easy stuff that you can do to just improve your own play. So I hope through this part, your understanding of the game and how to get better, how to improve, how to play a stupid awesome macro style has improved a lot. With that being said, this is Filter Starcraft, signing off for this particular episode.